Now, a News 2 I-Team investigation.
There's no doubt Charleston is growing. 34 people are moving to the Tri-County region every day. And with that growth comes new developments like homes, apartments, shopping centers. And some who live here are worried our trees may be suffering from these developments. So I looked into the development process to see if there's any way to save more trees.
I think this is a good step. And I'd like to make a motion that we...
Joe Busto sits on Mount Pleasant Town Council. But when he's not in that seat, he's in the pilot seat.
If there's a new development, I'll fly over and just take a peek.
He runs a flight school out of Mount Pleasant, so he's up in the air most of the day. And sometimes he doesn't love what he sees below.
Just little pockets of land that have just been clear cut. I can't believe in some of these bigger tracts that there weren't more trees that could be saved.
It's something that's been bothering me for quite a while.
Pat Sullivan feels the same way. She lives in Mount Pleasant and speaks up about the issue at council meetings.
One of my favorite sayings is, I want my town to look like someplace rather than any place.
On some of the developments that we flew over, they had literally no trees, and they probably won't have any trees for 30 or 40 years.
So now, Busto says the Mount Pleasant Town Council is looking into its ordinances to possibly protect more trees. But developers say some of those ordinances are the reason they cut down trees.
There's a number of challenges, not the least of which is some of the regulatory things that they're required to do as far as, stormwater and things they have to do to fill the lots and those kind of things, oftentimes damage and kill the trees as well.
David Ellis, the vice president of the Charleston Area Home Builders Association, says in fact developers don't want to cut down trees.
When you talk to builders and real estate professionals, they'll always tell you that trees sell homes. They certainly want to keep as many trees as they can, and although you come onto a pristine site, oftentimes trees do have to be removed. But again, it's done to accommodate people who want to buy houses in our community.
I looked into what the regulations are in some of our areas when it comes to the development process. In Berkeley County, a developer can timber a lot without a permit from the engineering department. That means they can cut the trees, but they must leave the stump. In Charleston County, all trees greater than 8 inches in diameter are protected and require a permit. Also in the counties, there are trees in buffer areas that can't be touched, and a development's plan must go through an approval process. But all municipalities have different regulations, so Busto says council members need to pay attention to what's coming down as more buildings are going up.
I think we've made it too easy just to cut it all down and then say, okay, we'll plant some more trees, rather than planning around some of the bigger trees that are there.
So take a look behind me at some more video from up in the air. There is still a good amount of green space across our region. Berkeley County offers incentives for developers who help protect trees. They will get a 5% density bonus if they protect at least 50% of the trees on the lot. You can find much more information about these ordinances online at countont2.com. And remember, if you have something that you'd like the I-Team to look into, email us at iteam@wcbd.com. You can also call the I-Team hotline, 843-216-5600.